Happy Monday, and welcome to this week's edition of the Daryl and BUU Show for the week of April the 20th. We had a good weekend. What did you get up to this weekend, BUU?
This weekend, we did not a whole lot. Didn't go anywhere. I think I worked on my grass for a bit, and otherwise it was my oldest son's birthday last Wednesday. So usually birthdays in our household last about a week long. Did some celebrating with him, had a little bit of a marshmallow roast last night, but otherwise stayed fairly isolated. How about you?
Yeah, the same. Got out and enjoyed the sunshine a little bit. We had a virtual card game with some friends on Friday evening, and then shared dinner with some friends virtually on Saturday evening. And then Sunday, just a little bit of spring cleanup, cleaned up the storage and got all that stuff done. So yeah, a bit of a good weekend overall, all things considered. So last week, if you recall, we did a little bit of a Q&A. Turnarounds fair play. Number one, who or what inspired you to get into IT as a career?
Back in high school, I actually went through the Cisco Networking Academy program. Our high school was one of the first ones to have that back in 1997. And I had a couple of awesome teachers for that. I had a guy named John Johnson, who passed away a few years back, rest in peace. He was an amazing guy, and Bill Kempthorne. And they were really just fun teachers. And I found that they allowed us to explore a lot. We were given a lot of free time to figure things out, and just the technology was really fun, and it was new-ish at the time as well. But after high school, I actually pursued sciences, and after a couple of years of realizing it would take a lot of work, I actually went to BCIT, and I took a program for 2 years there, got out of school, and got into a career pretty easily.
What are one or two of your favorite podcasts that you're listening to right now?
Yeah, I'm a big podcast guy. I do spend a lot of time in the car. Don't live that close to town, so I'm listening to a lot of things. I'm actually a longtime listener of the Joe Rogan Experience. He's inspired me in a lot of ways in terms of fitness, and just in terms of being more creative and being more open-minded, and listening to other people's opinions on stuff. And then otherwise, other people might know that I'm into things like real estate investing and personal finance. So like something like Bigger Pockets is something that I've listened to for a very long time for real estate investing.
Nice. I'm actually going to see Joe Rogan live here, and pushed off to October, I think, but looking forward to that.
Nice.
Name a dish that you're good at making. This could be breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Yeah, so I'm not a good cook whatsoever. Lately, I have been making breakfast sandwiches for the kids on the weekends and the mornings. So I'd say I've been doing a pretty good job of, probably not quality, but I'd say quantity-wise, I'm able to produce like 4 or 5 of those in a pretty efficient manner.
You lack in quality, you make up in volume.
Yeah. What
was the first car that you owned?
It was a Honda Civic. 2-door Honda Civic. That was back in the day. So this was in 1999, 2000. So that was back when Fast and the Furious was a big thing. And, I know a few of my friends actually have been watching these episodes, so they'll remember, like, we thought we were in the movie at that point in our lives.
If you could play any musical instrument, what would it be?
I have a guitar back there, and fun fact, I don't know how to play it. So I bought it on a whim because I saw it on sale. So I would like to learn how to play that one day.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I bought a guitar, took one lesson, and that was it, but one day. What is the biggest adjustment you've found since being home quarantined?
Yeah, seeing my family so much, I would say. Yeah. And otherwise, I think not seeing other people has been really interesting, and maybe something that I took for granted, in that in the roles that we have, we get to see a variety of people all the time. We still see them over video, which is great.
Yep.
But just that interaction with people, and just learning about what their weekend was like and learning about them, that was something that I definitely look forward to getting back to.
Yeah. So that's a good bridge into the final question. What is one thing you consider positive as a result of being home quarantined?
Yeah, I wrote an article on LinkedIn about this, but I wrote about Booze Hour, which is our 1 hour, started off as a happy hour that we started doing. And that was really interesting. I got a lot of feedback from people who would just ping me kind of offline afterwards and said that it's been a really important thing for them to connect with people, even though it's over video and it's virtually and it's not in person, but people were, also really missing that kind of human connection. So I would say, I think some of the things that we took for granted before quarantine, I think we're going to really value human relationships after all of this.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more.
I'm just going to go through some announcements on giveaways as well for our subscribers, and that's been growing over the past couple of weeks here. What we want to do is a bit of a giveaway. So we are looking like we'll probably hit 50 subscribers, which I'm really happy with. And I do see emails as people subscribe. I don't see all of them though. So if you are subscribing, or if you already have subscribed, just take a quick screenshot, send that to Daryl. Daryl is either emailing this to you, or you can find us on our YouTube channel. There's links to our LinkedIn profiles as well. You don't have to be a current client of myself or Daryl's, but if you just want to go ahead and just shoot us a screenshot, you'll be entered into the prize drawing giveaway.
Okay, great. And the prize we're drawing for, I believe, is going to be a $50 gift card to Amazon.
And then I have a bit of an announcement around Booze Hour. I'll talk about this today on Booze Hour as well, but the Booze Hour, as we kind of evolved that a little bit, I've turned certain days into, instead of just an open free-for-all, into actual theme days. So we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday for that. And then I'm actually going to take one day and I'm going to turn it into a bit of a live stream, or it might be pre-recorded at times as well, but we'll actually have more longer kind of one-on-one or one to a couple interviews on that. And the intent with that is to kind of bring out more human connection through that by learning about somebody. So it might be learning about somebody that I work with, or maybe it will be learning about partners that I work with or customers that I work with, or just friends or friends or people that I know through the community as well. But the whole idea with that is just to continue on with human connection and hopefully bring that to you in different ways. With that, I guess we will head over to the updates. Once again, it was a pretty decent weekend this weekend, so I was outside and hope you enjoy them. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
Bye, folks.
Hey guys, really nice weekend again, so I thought I'd take the weekly update outside again. Still in Pitt Meadows, this time we're in Osprey Village, and I'm right outside the South Bonson Community Center. This is right by where I live. They do a lot of weddings here during the summer. Obviously right now there's not a lot of that happening, but it's a cool street. There's a couple coffee shops here, a couple little shops, and we got a little field here, and just across the field is actually the Fraser River. So hopefully, if you ever get a chance, you can come by and check this out. Otherwise, let's go through some updates. DevCentral has been doing a number of live streams lately, so there was one just on April 16th and the one from the week before, but they've been doing a lot of really cool live Q&A on that. DevCentral just published 3 videos on checking logs, and that's a question that I've had come up recently. So there's one on checking the logs via tmsh, one on checking the logs via the bash shell, and one on checking the logs via the config utility. There's also a new DevCentral video on VPN Split Tunneling for you guys to check out, as well as another video on renewing SSL certs and keys. I've included a link for the Big IP platform matrix, and that's a pretty handy chart. It tells you which software versions are still compatible and current on which platform. So for anybody on ASM or AWAF, you'll just want to check, but you should see inside the config utility an update available for your signatures. So take a look. I've included a link as well for configuring Access Policy Manager for system management authentication. So this is pretty handy for giving yourself a lot more flexibility on how you authenticate into your Big IP. One thing to note right now, dual authentication doesn't work yet on Big IP 15.1 if you use the modern UI layout. So that's something that Duo is aware of, and they're tracking that issue, and hopefully we'll have that resolved soon. nginx controller 3.3 has just been released. You'll want to check out the release notes for that. I've included a link to a podcast on nginx service mesh. It's actually interviewing Alan Murphy, and he was actually a longtime F5 employee. A few years back, he went over to nginx, and now he's back at F5 now that nginx has been acquired by F5. So good to have him back, and he talks about using nginx as service mesh. I've included a link to some free training that's always been available from F5, but there's a Getting Started series, and it covers most of the modules from F5. So great way to get started on modules that you may not have had too much experience with yet. With the increasing use of VPN right now, F5 Labs has published an article on the 4 risks of using VPN and how to address them. San Francisco Airport just suffered from a data breach. You'll want to check out the article that I've linked there, but I know a lot of people will fly into or through San Francisco as far as tech companies go. An interesting article that I've linked as well is just around the malicious email activity with regards to COVID-19. Google has seen over 200 million emails daily when it comes to COVID-19. And that's all the updates that I have for you guys this week. Thanks a lot, stay safe, and we will see you next week.